The Young Thug Lil Baby vs Gunna beef have been heating up after DJ Academics leaked information gathered from rappers around the industry, as Young Thug reacted in real time when Gunna snitched out of the YSL trial.
You agree or acknowledge that statements are true, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance?
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrant and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
As Academics revealed, the following day after, Young Thug hopped on the phone with every rapper in the industry, telling them all to avoid Gunna, unfollow him, and cut any business ties that they have, all within a jail phone.
The streets are so atrocious. Young Thug told everybody that Gunna was a snitch. I'm telling you this, I don't give a if you believe me. That's what he sent to. Or he sent a message to Dirk, Baby. There's a few other rappers, I just won't call their names, just because some of them just told me in privacy. All of them rappers start not fucking with Gunna, speaking out, they're chilling away. Thug got out, Gunna kinda hot. Ain't like you're trying to really jump and work with Gunna, but
to understand Gunna's response, you first need to know the actions that Young Thug took. Because the moment that he was released from jail, he would go to tweet, "Wham, let's drop one on these rats," with the name Wham referring to rapper Lil Baby. He's been firm on dissing Gunna for snitching out of the YSL trial early, as Young Thug, Gunna, and Lil Baby were all three best friends for over a decade and were a very close group. Lil Baby was seen responding to Young Thug on Instagram saying, "We should." But then moments later, Young Thug would release an Instagram clip with T.I., where you can see Young Thug clearly saying that he's home and he did it the right way, sneak dissing Gunna for taking an absurd plea deal earlier on in the YSL case.
Hey, man, what you got to tell these people?
Back. Back, Jack.
You feel me?
You did.
Hey, man, ain't no cap in it.
No cap in my rap.
You feel what I'm saying?
The right way.
It's time.
The right way, bro.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right way.
Yeah, that way.
Yeah.
And go tell that.
As Young Thug even puts emphasis on letting Gunna know that he did it the right way out of jail. Young Thug would then tweet the following morning, "Gunna, stop acting like we're friends on the internet. I don't know you." This ended up getting the attention of Gunna and his brother. Gunna's brother would reply on Instagram, "Trust and believe, the feeling is mutual," with then being Gunna unfollowing Young Thug on Instagram. This then led into Young Thug hopping on an Instagram live, laughing at Gunna for now just unfollowing him after he was dissing him for over a year.
I'm on live. I just jumped on here to let you ladies know that yes, a goat can go live. Whoa! What's up? Who up right now? What's up? Who up right now?
As with the beef going viral online, there would then be another Instagram live where Young Thug hops on an Instagram live with a girl and says some very surprising words, then quickly leaving and deleting the Instagram live history.
Stink, I miss you.
I miss you too. What you doing?
Nothing, bored. You don't like him?
No, that's in my motherfucking room.
Cause you was being mean. He felt your energy.
Man, I don't even play. I fly all the way to LA. Is that?
You ain't gonna touch him.
But suddenly, later on that day, news outlets would begin reporting breaking concerning news coming out involving rapper Gunna being followed and approached by local gang members, with many connecting it to Young Thug for possibly getting revenge for Gunna snitching in the YSL trial. As the weird part was only 30 minutes after the reports were all being released, there would be a video clip shared online of Young Thug in the studio, seen laughing, smiling, and flexing his jewelry, extremely happy to be home.
P, that's some pounds, P. I'm gonna show you away, P. You go pound, go pound, go make bag. Crazy that bag. I'll take. Go ahead.
But the entire Young Thug vs. Gunna situation got very confusing from here. Lil Baby would be defending Young Thug for over a year, that Gunna was snitching and did the wrong things in the YSL trial. But Young Thug's father then called out Lil Baby to be quiet.
How do you feel about Lil Baby throwing at Gunna for his plea deal?
He need to shut the fuck up, cause he don't know what's going on. You know, he's going off of what he heard. When have y'all went to a court date to support Slime, to support Jeffrey, to support Thug, however you want to name him?
As according to Young Thug's father, Gunna isn't the main reason that Young Thug was in the situation that he was in.
Courtney said, how do you feel about Gunna?
I love Gunna.
See, that's the thing. People don't understand the relationship. They got this thing saying that Gunna is a rat and he's done this and done that.
But see, let me try to help the attorney clarify that a little simpler.
Okay.
Gunna hasn't done anything whatsoever that can hurt us on this case. Period.
But the story gets even crazier from here, making many believe Thug isn't even on good terms with his father, as a leaked phone call from jail with Young Thug and Lil Durk would end up exposing the truth, as Lil Durk ended up releasing a snippet of a new song he was going to release over a year ago, where he would say the lyrics, and I quote, "What happened to Virgil, he's probably gonna tell," which is obviously a sneak diss towards Gunna, remixing the title of their song together titled What Happened to Virgil, as Young Thug would call him and tell him that he wants that verse.
Hey Dirk, I know I want you on. I'm dropping this surprise album on the same day Buddy dropped his album. Coming up soon. I need a verse from you. If you feel like replying, if you feel like you want to reply to it, saying or something, man, don't do it. Drop it on my album. I'm dropping a surprise album on the same day that dropped. Send your verse in, bro. I want you and Wham on the same song.
This is then when more rappers would begin getting involved on the beef, wanting to get close to a Young Thug, knowing that his first project is going to be one of the biggest of the entire year, as Drake would go and take advantage of it. It would be announced, Academic says Drake flew to see Young Thug just 2 hours after his release from jail and gave him $1 million.
They say 2 hours afterwards, Drake flew to Thug and allegedly gave him $1 million. Drake didn't tell me. Drake gonna hit me up and be like, which, by the way, super strategic move. Super strategic. Thug was in jail talking about let's squash all this beef. If I'm Drake, I need Atlanta.
However, just yesterday at the time of this recording, lawyers online noted Young Thug's gonna get in serious trouble if he continues. He's not allowed to be acting like this according to his probation agreement, and it can result in him going to prison. It would be announced. Academic speaks on Young Thug getting released and says the stipulations that he's got are a setup for the court to try to put Young Thug back in jail, explaining that it's all a setup for Thug to eventually fail, then go to prison for 20 years.
I know some of his fans think he beat the case. He definitely didn't beat the case. Beat the case means you got no stipulations. The Young Thug thing is a win, but it's also a huge setup. If you gonna tell me that they gonna monitor him on a probationary basis for 15 years, can't be in Atlanta, can't communicate with co-defendants or gang members, he can't rap about, he can't promote any music that has to do with what they believe is gang activity. He's always gonna talk about him and his is doing his thing. They might consider that gang activity. He might be like, yo, me it's like, yo, we going to the park getting lit. We going to the club getting lit. They might be like, oh no, you talking about the gang. So, we celebrating right now because I think we could all see, if you follow that trial at all, whether you're a fan of Thug or not, you can see the pain, you can see this was going through it. Like, he gained a lot of weight. Everybody know Thug was not that weight. So we happy he got out, but we definitely got to be very cognizant of how it's going to play out.
As academics would end up revealing how Young Thug is going to get set up by the feds and get placed into prison for over 20 years. This, however, would get the attention of the famous rap lawyer, who would explain that it's an amazing deal for Young Thug as long as he stays out of trouble.
Young Thug absolutely won that plea deal for so many reasons. One, the prosecution got none of what they wanted when you think about what the charges were and what actually got pled to. And two, he saved himself some major civil liability. Let me break that down. So first off, prosecution had charged this man with 8 counts. 2 of them were very serious. 2 of them were basically saying that for years you were the leader of a criminal gang that committed murders and all types of acts all over the city of Atlanta. Those 2 charges Young Thug did not plead guilty to. Had he pled guilty to those, he would have gotten serious time, and all the victims of all of this alleged criminal street gang activity, including the families of victims, could have sued him civilly in court and said, hey, this man pled guilty to doing it. Now he's got to pay me. He pled nolo contendere. The judge accepted that plea. The prosecution said, Judge, you should not allow a nolo contendere plea on those 2 counts. The judge said, I am going to allow it.
However, Young Thug's legal team might have the edge over the state if they want to try putting Young Thug back in prison, because they're taking legal action for stealing against Thug. A report would be shared. Rapper Young Thug had millions in assets in his home when he was arrested, and now the state wants to seize it. The only problem is that he earned it with a very successful music career, with the main item in question being a Richard Mille Bubba Watson. This has an estimated price tag of $304,000, but the actual price to get the watch is over $1 million. This was originally seized out of the YSL mansion when he was arrested a few years ago, but now it's missing. But the following day in the YSL trial, a police officer would take the stand who just so happened to be wearing a Richard Mille.
3 p.m. to 11 p.m. All right. Can you tell the jury some of your responsibilities and what your role was at Zone 3 Evening Watch?
As Young Thug would do something very creative to make sure everyone knows he knows this police officer likely has his stolen watch, as he would go on a FaceTime call with Brian Steele later on that night, giving a motivational speech to a classroom and sharing what's truly important.
You guys should become lawyers. I think it's very important to help people out of the situations they're in, the best you can. I mean, what side you want to be on? You want to put people in prison for mistakes? Because everybody makes mistakes, are human, you know, and everybody on this phone, everybody in this classroom, you always need to know that you're one mistake away. And I feel like we need more people like Brian Steele on this earth and less people like that. So I think it's very, very, very important to become lawyers. I think it's very, very important to be a lawyer over any other thing. You know, lawyers and doctors are the 2 greatest things that were ever founded, you know?